What's going on, guys? So I'm back with another video on the black S10, and today I'm going to be relocating the battery from the front of the truck to the back. So I mounted the nitrous bottle on the passenger side, so I'm gonna have to unbolt that so I could mount it on the driver's side. My fuel cell is going to sit in the middle, and then my battery is going to sit on the passenger side. So that's what brings us to this video. Is I'm going to make a battery bracket out of this angle iron. I found this piece of angle iron in the scrap pile in the backyard, so I'm gonna make a battery bracket out of it. You know, it's not gonna be weatherproof, but it is gonna last a long time. You know, your kids are gonna be able to use that battery bracket in their race truck. So that being said, I'm gonna unbolt that nitrous bottle from there, and then I'm gonna cut these pieces up. And once I get to there, I'm gonna turn y'all back on, so you know, y'all can watch me weld it up or whatever and put it together and mount the battery in the truck, you know, make it official. So as soon as I get to there, I'll turn y'all back on. What's going on, guys? So I'm back, and it's actually been a few days since I last worked on the battery bracket. Some things came up that day that I had to attend to, and I haven't been able to get to it ever since, you know. So I did work on it that night, but I didn't record what I did to it. And I think the only thing that I did was cut the threaded rod and weld it to the bracket, you know. So I cut 2 pieces of threaded rod and welded one on each side, you know. So it, you know, that's ready to go. So real quick, let me start picking out the flaws on my bracket. You know, even though it was a, you know, make something out of nothing type of deal, I didn't really pay too much attention to it. But I didn't use no tape measure, and I eyeballed everything, you know. So right away the welds don't look good, but I feel like it was because of the material that I used, you know. The angle iron had some type of material on it, and it would flake, it flake off, you know. So I kind of felt like that's what you know, that's what that had to do with the welds coming out the way they did, you know, was because of the stuff that was on it. But anyways, you know, I kept, you know, moving forward with it. At the time of me messing with the bracket, I didn't really pay attention to one side being longer than the other, right? So I thought nothing of it, kept going with it. And then so when I got to mounting the rods, I used a piece of the angle iron to weld on the side of the bracket. That way I could weld the rod to it and hold it up, you know, or whatever, to be able to torque the battery down. And in doing that, how one side's longer than the other, it kind of sat funny, you know. But once again, you know, I kept going with it, didn't really think nothing of it. So whenever I put the bracket together, I ended up, the long side of the battery, I put that on top of the short side. So whenever you go to snug it down, the battery would just sit snug, you know. And doing it the other way, to where the short side is on top, the battery would have started to sag right here, you know. So whenever you go to torque it down, it really would have sagged, you know. So I mean, I felt like that, you know, that was something good that came out of the bracket. I didn't weld on the inside because I didn't want to hurt the battery in any way, you know. So I welded all around on the outside, and I cut 1-inch pieces off of that same material and welded it to the side. That way I could hold the battery down to the truck, you know. So the only thing I'm gonna do now is cut a piece of that same material off. So the only thing I need left is to cut a piece of that same angle iron to hold the battery down. So how you notice that one side is longer than the other, I'm gonna cut the short side off, and then I'm gonna use the long part to hold the battery down, to snug it down, you know. So who knows, I mean, it already has holes, you know. We might get lucky and they might line up. We might just have to make them bigger to fit the rod through, you know. But you know, if not, I'll make my own holes, it don't matter. So I just gotta cut that, get that ready, and then hit this up with the drill and the wire wheel, paint it, and then mount it in the truck, you know, make it official. So as soon as I get to there, I'll go ahead and turn y'all back on. So the only thing we need to do now is just give it a few coats of paint, and then we'll be able to bolt it down. I already drilled the holes on the bed, so got the nuts and the bolts ready. So once we paint this, we let it dry, and then we'll be able to mount it down. So I'm gonna get that ready, and then I'll turn y'all back on. So I let it sit for about 30 minutes in the sun, and this is what it looks like after a few coats of paint, you know. Came out all right, nothing crazy, you know. It looks all right. It looks all right. So I'm gonna go ahead and take it to the front and bolt it down, see what it looks like. Man, the paint wasn't even dried, but I was getting too excited. Man, and it stayed lined up too. It don't look crooked, you know, the bracket holding it on top. So shit, for eyeballing it, it came out pretty good on the cool. Shit. So there it is. It's all complete, man. It's all ready to go. That's the outcome of a homemade battery bracket, you know. Man, on the cool, I'm happy with it, man. I'm gonna rock it for a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So while I was looking at it real quick, I was quick to say, oh yeah, it's straight, you know, right here. But you go to look at the rods, and they're sticking out. They're like pushing out the sides, you know. So I feel like I could have pushed them in maybe 1/2 inch on both sides, and it would have made up 1 inch, which is what we needed for this hole, and it would have sat more closer together and everything, you know. But nah, I ain't worried about that. I'm gonna go ahead and use it the way it is. I hope that there's a room for my fuel cell, you know. I don't know where my fuel cell's at, so hopefully when I put it on, everything will be according to plan, you know. So that's gonna be it, you know. So we're pretty much at the end of the video for building a homemade battery bracket. So I want to give y'all a quick update on the nitrous on my truck, you know. So I got my bottle mounted already, I got my line ran, and then I got everything almost ready to go. So whenever I go to turn the ignition, I activate that switch, my solenoids for my purge gets fire, right? So I hit it, I'll be able to purge. And I've tried it already, and you could hear the solenoid click on in the engine bay, you know. So I got that right there. So you activate it, you purge the line, you know, to clear out the line, clear out all the air, and then after that you're ready to go, you know. So I got everything ran already. So there's my relay. I need a wire from my wide open throttle switch to go to my relay, and then I need a wire from my relay to go to my battery. So that was part of the reason why I wanted to hurry up and put my battery in the back, because I'm trying to lighten the truck, and the weight that I do need, I'm trying to move it around to where it benefit me more whenever I'm racing it at the track, you know. So, you know, part of me moving it to the back is hoping I get more traction, you know. So that's why I wanted to hurry up and do the bracket, so that I could run, I don't know, you know, how to run my fire wire and stuff like that, you know, from the relay to there. So the way it's gonna work is I'm gonna activate my switch, and then the minute I hit wide open throttle, this is gonna activate the relay. The wide open throttle switch is gonna activate the relay, and then the relay is gonna open up my solenoids, and that's how that's gonna work, you know. And then I made a homemade everything's homemade, you know what I'm saying. So anyways, I made a homemade bracket for my wide open throttle switch. This one came in the kit, but if you look at the other one in the back of it, that's the one that got all kinds of holes everywhere. That's the one I made. And I got a piece of it was like a piece of paper. It was pretty thick, you know, almost like something similar to cardboard. I bent it the shape that I wanted, and the first time that I made this bracket, man, it all sat perfect and everything. It was like meant to be, you know what I'm saying. So yeah, it's all ready to go, you know. My wires look a little messy, but we're gonna make it work, you know. So that's pretty much it, you know. I gotta do that, and then once that's ready to go, the 2 wires I ran, my battery's back there. The only thing I really need to do is change spark plugs and fill up the bottle, and then we're gonna be able to spray it, you know, and see if we could get it into the 11s with the 150 shot. You know, I did low 13s, so I'm gonna give it a little bit of a weight reduction, and then we're gonna run the 150 shot, you know. And then the carburetor, and there was one video I made where I'm putting this carburetor on my blue truck, and I was like, depending on how it ran on there was gonna determine whether I moved it or not. Well, yeah, the other motor didn't like it idling. It was like, you know, it was smelling weird, you know. The gas and stuff was like smelling like raw, you know, and it was starting to smoke at idle. You'd have to step on the gas to clear it out, you know. So that's when I knew it wasn't liking it, you know. So I ended up moving it over here, turned it on. Man, it sounds healthy, it sounds strong, ready to go. So it got good response, and I kind of feel like this motor like that 750 more than the other one did, you know. Or let me say, I think this motor likes this carburetor than the other one it had, because the other one was a 700. So I ended up switching them, and sure enough, the other truck runs way better with that 700, man. So it's like kind of meant to be, you know, this carb on this motor, you know. So this one's a 750 and the other one's a 700. So that's pretty much where we're at, you know. So I'm gonna try to finish it off, see what I could do, and then like I said, I still got to fill the bottle up and get plugged, so that's already 200 bucks right off the bat, you know. So once I get to there, you know, I try to come up with that other video, you know, so y'all can check it out and see what's up. So that's pretty much gonna be it, you know. Real quick, watch, let me show y'all that wide open throttle switch. Watch, let's see, where am I at? All right, that's wide open right there. So that's it, man, that's it. So I'm gonna try to hurry up and get that going, you know. They're having a race of cop on the 23rd, I think, of this month. So man, I'd like to at least test it out before taking it out there, you know, to play with that, to play out there, you know. So I think we got like one test and tune. I'm not even sure. I think it's just this week for test and tune, and then the following weekend would be that, I think. So I'm gonna try to get it ready, whether it's for a test and tune or for that day, you know, the race of cop day. So you know, as soon as I get situated on that, man, I'll record some footage so that y'all can check it out and see if we make a decent pass, if it hooks or breaks loose or blows up or whatever, you know. So that's gonna be it for this video. I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out.